Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled. This is Mila J. Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Big Shook, host of the Undrafted All-Star Sports Show. Man, listen, if you want some real down south, Louisiana-style Cajun food, you need to go check out DB's Cajun Kitchen. Yo, they got lobster and grits, seafood boils, signature fries, signature po' boys, signature egg rolls, and desserts. Oh, and my favorite, them gumbo tacos. Yo, they open from 11 to 8, Wednesday to Monday, 7 to 5:30 on Sunday. Located in North Las Vegas at 4343 North Rancho Drive. They even have to-go orders and catering. Hit them up, 725-780-1850, or go to the website, dbcajunkitchen.com. So, yo, don't just tell your friends about me. Tell them about DB's Cajun Kitchen.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com. right. You guys are live right now on Hotlyte, right here on hot7025fm.com. I am fine ass Carrice, and we have a hot light in the building. This is like long overdue. We should have been done this, but you know, my guest is here, and we're about to talk about real estate. We're about to talk about love. She don't even know what we're about to talk about, but we're about to talk about a whole lot of things, and we may as well go ahead and get into it. So just like that, what we got? What, you over there breaking stuff?
I didn't do anything.
We got Ashley Jennings in the building with us. How you feeling?
I'm good. What's up, Eve?
I'm good. You know what? I'm pretty fantastic. I have no complaints. You know, just hanging out, just doing our thing. What you here for?
Real estate. Yes, I'm speaking at a real estate event this weekend. Black Realtor Network. It's called Unplugged.
Okay.
Hosted by some Keller Williams brokers. So I'm here to speak at that event this weekend.
How you feel about that? Keller Williams, right?
I think it's necessary.
A brokerage.
Yes.
So you own a brokerage?
I do.
Right? Yeah. So like, do you guys work with each other, or do y'all, is there like brokerage beef?
No.
How does that work?
There's no beef. It's all about collaboration. I think that's the most important part in the business, collaborating, building those relationships.
Okay.
So yes, it's definitely important for Black realtors.
For sure. I mean, I think that in Black business in general, and a lot of times I hear people say, like, you should support Black businesses, and then I hear people complain about supporting Black businesses, and I'm like, listen, there is obviously a gap in the amount of time that we've had information to become a business owner. Y'all got to give us grace, you know.
Absolutely.
And how do you feel about that? Like, you got into real estate for what reason?
I got into real estate to, of course, bring more inventory to the market. Where I'm from, we have a lot of distressed properties, so I really got into it to invest, rebuild, and restore communities. That's really why I got into it.
Okay. And then, so that was the only reason? Like, you didn't need to make money?
Well, yeah, of course, money, of course. But that was that's my why. I'll say that. But yes,
your
definitely
why
money.
was for the money, right? For sure, because I mean, I think that's like a reality in some cases. Like, a lot of people transition to real estate because they're like, I saw this person sell this home, and this home was, this amount, right? And with that, they saw this big check, and they're like, oh, I can make this amount if I just sell one home. Did you have that thought and feeling?
That was some of it. I guess that's normal to have some of that thought, but it was also one of those things too where I'm one of those people that believe in, if you work hard, the money's gonna come regardless. You work hard, you do your part, do what you need, do what you set out to do. It's gonna come to you regardless.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. So you started doing real estate because essentially you want the money, but then you're like, you know what, our community needs some uplifting, and if I could be a tool and a resource to do that, you're like, I'm jumping in.
Yes.
What did that look like in the area that you live? You being a Black female, LGBTQ, family.
Yes.
And, what did that look like for you to even say, you know what, I want to start my own brokerage? Because I remember us having a conversation before you started the brokerage, and I was like, F them people.
Yeah. I guess it's a little, so the LGBT piece, that's always a little different, because when I go, like the event I'm going to tomorrow, I don't necessarily look like your female realtors. Most of them have on the dresses, the heels.
So you're not wearing dress and heels?
Yeah, that's definitely not going to happen.
Oh, okay.
So I definitely do not look like your average agent, but just being comfortable and confident with who I am, that helps. And then starting out, of course, there was always the fear of competition, because there's other people that rehab properties where I'm from. But just focusing on my main goal, that was the biggest piece for me, and it worked well. I mean, it was scary, of course. Renovating properties is always, there's a fear there. And then just putting them out there on the market and hoping, people enjoy what I put out. I mean, it's been great so far.
Right. So when you went in to say, you know what, I want to be a broker, because, and I'm not a real estate person. I do own some real estate. We have family real estate and real estate in our family trust and all of that stuff. But like going out to become a brokerage, like you have to have a certain dollar amount to say, like, oh, I'm going to hold this money saying that I'm going to purchase this home for you. I guess is that how it works? Like, essentially the brokerage would have a certain dollar amount to kind of, or trust, I say, or whatever, in order to say that this person can buy this home from this real estate agent? Is that how it works?
No. So
what's the brokerage for?
It's okay. So the brokerage is so for me to be able to list my properties.
Okay.
So the reason why I started my brokerage is because at the time when I wanted to do it, I was just a broker. Mm-hmm. But now I'm a broker in charge in North Carolina. So there's two different things.
Okay.
A broker, you hang your license under a broker in charge. I get splits from my agents up under my brokerage.
Okay.
The reason I started
That's interesting because it's not like that here.
It's different in most states.
Yeah,
It's always different.
That's interesting. That's probably why I don't know what the heck it means. Okay.
Yeah, so being a broker in charge allows me to be the one that hires agents. I get splits from the deals they do. Mm-hmm. But the reason I started was because my broker in charge at the time wanted 50% of any project I did. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do so I don't have that issue? Because that's way too much work to give someone 50% of.
Right.
So I started my own at that point. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just start my own. I never had the aspiration to have agents up under me. My goal was just to start a brokerage where I didn't have that barrier. Ended up hiring agents up under me and coaching them through exactly what I do. So I find off-market properties. And I directly buy from the person who owns. I renovate them fully, and I place them on the market at affordable prices. In most cases, I can stay up under $200,000. Now, of course, now that looks a little differently with rates going up a little bit. But most times, I'm able to keep them mid to low 200K.
Here is the struggle. Like the home price, I feel like the average home price here is like $330.
Oh,
that's a low. Okay, like you're trying to buy a 3-bedroom home that might be, let's see, 1,600 square feet. You're spending $380,000.
Okay,
well, and we can talk about it in the hood too. I'm not even playing.
In the hood?
Yes.
Oh.
We just sold a family property that's considered in the hood, but it's where all the upscale black people used to live, right? But I think the valuation now is almost $400,000, and it was essentially like we added rooms to it and stuff like that. But the house should be we already got the check.
It's too high.
It's too late. We already got the check. But yeah, it's crazy with this home. The increase in home prices and things like that.
Yeah.
So does that impact you? Has that impacted you and your team when they're going to sell properties? Because I would assume, obviously, it's like, cost of living depending on the area you live in, right? So here, cost of living might be higher. Our pay may be higher for employees, so on and so forth. But I would assume the cost of living based off your house has to do with your state. But what's the increased dollar amount that you've seen since 2020?
So I started flipping homes in 2020.
Okay.
I noticed that things as small as, well, it's not small, but I usually do new HVAC systems in all of my homes. My HVAC systems from 2020 up until now, my HVAC system used to cost, for ductwork and the unit, was around $4,000, give or take. I got a bid a couple weeks ago, and it's like $10,000-$12,000. I mean, this is a substantial difference between what it was just for. Well, to think about it, it hasn't even been a full 4 years yet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The prices are wild. So much so, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we're moving out of the country. I'm good. I don't need to buy more property in this place.
It is expensive. It is.
So you have real estate agents under you?
I do, and I own a construction firm. So we do our own construction pieces in-house. So it's fully ran by black women.
Nice.
So Gabrielle Frazier is one of our project managers. She's amazing. So we focus primarily on Shelby, North Carolina market. So most times my acquisition prices are around $40,000-$70,000, give or take. So that's pretty good. Yeah,
especially you're selling for $200.
Well, I just said the cost of the construction pieces and material has went up so much. Yeah. That's not helping. Right. But yeah, it's pretty good spread.
Interesting. So you do a lot of conversations about real estate. So you do your Friday calls where you talk
Free
about
Game
real
Friday.
Estate. I feel like you stole that. But
from who?
From me. But you know what?
I stole it from you?
I think you did.
We want to talk about compensation?
No. I need my I need my 50%. I need my 50% for real. No, but I like the free game Fridays, and you're consistent with it, which is great. Why don't you just make that a radio show? I'm just asking. I know a lady who could, like, you know, maybe syndicate that. I'm just saying.
You being for real? You joking?
I'm dead serious.
I don't know. I guess I'd be open to having a conversation about it.
Okay. Yeah. That's See, she gave the political answer. Y'all see that?
Conversation?
I'll be open to have that conversation.
That's an added task.
I'm gonna start saying. I usually say that too, and I'm not. Or now. Well, now I'll be like, I'm not going. I'm not gonna do it.
Me too.
But you know, when I really might consider, I'm like, you know what? Let me consider that conversation. We'll go there. Okay. All right.
I'm open to it.
Okay, so you have a free game Fridays. What was the last conversation that you had on free game Fridays that was valuable?
I think the last conversation I talked about, I've been talking a lot about just forming a business and doing it a certain way, making sure that we're structuring your business up front the correct way. Meaning making sure up front you have attorneys in place. Like I mentioned, attorneys specialize in different areas.
Yes.
So my litigation attorney is not my attorney who handles my real estate closings for me personally or my brokerage. My trust attorney doesn't handle any of my litigation pieces, and she doesn't handle any of my closings. So just keeping those things separate to where you don't have that conflict of interest.
Well, what does that retainer look like? Let's talk about people who are really starting out a new business and they ain't got it. How do, like, you know, because it would be good to say, oh, great, when you start your business, make sure you have 3 different attorneys, right?
Okay, so let me be clear. I did not do that until my business was to a point where I'm scaling and I'm able to pay myself consistently. So I did not start out that way.
Right, or so get Legal Shield. Is that what you're trying to say?
What did I use? When I first started, I used, what is it? What is the thing? Legal
Shield. I think that's what it is.
It's one of them. Yeah. To create my LLCs and things like that.
LegalZoom.
Yeah, LegalZoom.
Yeah.
I use those on InkFile.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Okay.
InkFile is what I used. They also have like a registered agent piece I can use. That was helpful. So starting out, of course, you're not going to be paying all these attorneys.
Right. And that's why I like to have real conversations because, you know, you get into this and then you figure it out as you go. And then, yes, you can, you know, provide tools and resources to help people be successful. But it's like, you're not going to start off with that. I got lucky because one of my high school really good friends happens to be an attorney and refuses to charge me and is my attorney. Okay.
That's dope.
And she's a contract lawyer too, so it's like, this is great.
Yeah, that is helpful.
Yeah,
at least start forming the relationships with those people and have the contacts whenever you are to get to a position where you're ready to start contacting them. So I definitely encourage that up front. Having an accountant, a bookkeeper, definitely something.
You talking a lot of. I've been in this for a couple of years. Words. Start off with an accountant.
Well, you got to file your taxes, E.
Of course, but do you need an accountant?
No, you don't. You can have
You can do it the hard way.
You can do it the hard way.
I do recommend getting an accountant. Okay. Like the first year, you're going to be like, what the hell did I just do? And how much did I make? And what did I spend? Like, you definitely need an accountant. So I feel like those are one of the things that you have to sacrifice and pay for. Because otherwise, and there's a lot of things you can't get approved for if you want them in the future, you know, if you don't have the correct documentation.
True.
So I do recommend all of those things. So, yeah, I think that, you know, I like your free game Fridays. You know, I like to have realistic conversations about, you know, entrepreneurship because it's not an easy task.
It is not. It's one of the hardest things I think I've ever experienced in my life.
And it's a challenge, but I've never been like, I'm going to quit. Like, I've never been like, forget this. Throw all of these businesses away. We're good. I've never felt that way.
I definitely don't. I have my moments where I'm just like, oh my God, this is tough.
Yeah.
This is harder than I thought it was going to be. And I just regroup and just circle back and figure out the solution.
Yeah.
And so it is difficult.
Yeah, making changes. Like that's one thing that I probably have constantly done is like make adjustments, make changes, and just reevaluate. Take some time to like reevaluate, you know, what's happening at that moment. Like, okay, so this is the challenge that I'm experiencing. How could I have handled this differently? And then two, like getting, you know, having a friend or something like that you can, confide in and say, hey, what do you think about this? Someone that you can trust in business conversations. And, shout out to a friend of mine who encouraged me to start my business first, Will Roundtree. And then I encouraged him to start his. And
he's so dope. Him and I were texting the other day.
Yeah, so he's the one who I remember because we used to work together in corporate America. We were making like 25 G's a month. Like it was like easy peasy. Why would we leave, right?
Right.
But we would walk in and I go to his office and I'll be like, why do you still work here? And he'll be, and he'll come in my office one day. He'll be like, why do you still work here? Like, we trying to figure out what the hell, why are we working here? Mm-hmm. But I think that we just got to the point where, like, hey, I got to the point where I was like, well, they're paying me way too much money. Like, it did not make sense why they're paying this, but I'm like, they're making this amount of money off of us.
Well, I didn't have that.
So I wanted to make 100% of my dollars, but you probably, what did you have? What was your transition like?
See, I was in social work.
Okay.
So I really didn't make any money. So I had to come up with something else to help supplement my income. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what is it? Like, what is that thing? Like, what is it going to be? Because I did not wake up thinking I would be in real estate. I was not somebody big on sales at all. I'm just like, nah. Have you told me that 10 years ago I would have been in sales? I'm like, no, there's no way. No. But I think the most difficult part for me, or what made the transition easier for me, was the lack of support in the social work field. I'm very solution focused. There's almost no solutions for social work. You just have to just constantly every day just do your part, do your best to help support the families that you're servicing, and hope for the best.
Yeah, so being in social work is tough. My grandmother was the first Black social worker in the state of Nevada, and I just remember some of the stories and things like that. Like that's tough. Okay, that's like that's a lot to like go home with.
Yes, and see, I was in foster care as a kid, so then there's some of that trauma associated with that. It comes back, and I'm just like, okay. Yeah, I got to come up with something. Then I end up adopting my cousin from foster care. So I'm just like, Lord, it's all around me.
But you had the ability to kind of change that path, and how things go. So when you say you were in foster care, like, were you ever adopted? Did you ever?
No, my mother was able to get us back.
Okay.
So it was really, I had a completely different experience than most kids have. So my mother was able to get us back. But I adopted my uncle's son. So, of course, I've had him now since he was 4, and I did, we moved forward with that process of adopting him. So it was great.
Right. I saw the other day that you posted that he called you mom. How'd you feel about that?
It felt so foreign, right?
Did you pause? Did you tear up? What happened?
And once the night was over and I processed what he did, I was like, okay, I did, get pretty emotional. But as we were talking about it, him and I just kind of laugh it off because he always knew me as his cousin. So I remember we used to joke and be like, you're my cousin, mom. You say stuff like that. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really dope.
That's good. You look like you are raising a nice, well-rounded young man.
Yeah,
looks like
cool.
He wants to be an entrepreneur and stuff like that. That's cool. Yeah. How you feel like that? That's a feat. That's like a accomplishment right there.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I mean, he's the best name to me. I mean, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Well, good. So does he want to go into real estate?
He does, and he also wants to own his own franchise for barbershops.
Nice.
So he really wants to get into that. He was texting me earlier.
Yeah,
I'm ready to make some money.
So does he cut hair?
You're not old enough yet.
Does he cut hair? He just goes to the barbershop and he's like, yeah, you know what, I could do this.
He's actually about to start school for his license. I did not know that they let kids in high school start.
Yeah, because they used to they used to have vocational schools where you could get that. Like you can you get your barber's license. So by the time you get out of school, you just go take the hours so that you can take the test. So yeah,
he's doing that same thing.
Okay, look at him about to be here. He always fresh to death too. So
yeah, he's cool.
That's a cool kid. So tell me about the event that you have. We spoke about it briefly earlier, and there's a couple of different people that are on the panel with you. What is it that you're going to be bringing to the conversation that you're having tomorrow, and where is it located?
So, I'm bringing to the conversation multiple sources of income. Okay. So most realtors just focus solely on helping clients buy and sell property. That's not just my only focus. My brokerage, we do of course help with buying and selling, but I wanted to make sure that we were doing more, because how do we retire? Yeah, you can't retire if you're always helping other people buy and sell and you never hold or do anything. So I'm bringing that conversation about getting into the fix and flips, because every market has distressed homes. So getting out there, not being afraid to start investing yourself. For every third flip, I hold. So getting into the rental side as well, so where you have that long-term income later on. So just having that conversation about that, development, getting into building some properties, different things like that, since I have a subdivision in my hometown as well. So just talking to them about getting
fancy.
into it. What? Fancy.
I have a subdivision.
I do.
Hometown.
I do. My hometown is great.
I like that. I'm you know me, I've been here for entrepreneurship. I don't even know how we originally connected, but I'm glad we did.
Shit was IG.
It's like years now. You know what I mean? It's like we friends. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that and we've had conversations about, business and things like that. And I just think that you have to surround yourself with people who are making those, lateral movements, you know? And do you feel like you still have friends that are pre entrepreneurship in your current entrepreneur journey?
What you mean?
Like, do you still have some of the same friends that you had prior to becoming an entrepreneur, or has that kind of shifted based off of,
It's shifted some.
Okay.
It has shifted some.
And how's that? Like, how did that go? Give me an example of a friendship lost in your entrepreneur journey.
I don't know. I think it's just different because I guess my mindset is just different. What I spend my day doing is not what I guess most average people would do. So it just looks a little differently. Not necessarily me. I guess not necessarily friends lost. I just don't spend as much time in those spaces. I guess I'm gonna say it that way.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that I've lost the friendships. It's just I don't spend a lot of time in certain spaces anymore like I did before. So it looks a little different. I'm more around business people. And then it's family. So it's not a whole lot of in between. I do have a best friend, her and I, we plan things with our kids. That's pretty much the extent of what that looks like.
But I think that also comes to getting older too. Getting older. Being more mature, understanding, that your entrepreneur life is, kind of all day.
And it's consuming.
But speaking of it being consuming, because I saw you at the salon the other day and you're on your phone.
Here we go.
Do you take time to like really decompress like on a weekly basis, or do you just plan it whenever you can plan it? Because the challenge is that, like, for me, I realized that I was working a lot. I'm like, go. I'm like, trying to make sure that I get to the goal fast, right? But I was sleepy and my brain capacity wasn't functioning like it needed to be. So I realized that I really needed to give myself 2 to 3 days off, and I really needed to sleep 10 hours a day.
You sleep 10 hours?
I sleep I sleep as long as I wake up, as long as I can to wake up. And it's definitely almost 10 hours. But what happens is my brain function moves more quickly. I'm able to, to respond or get things out or, create proposals, whatever that needs. I'm able to do it faster rather than doing it on a shorter amount of time where my brain was still a little bit tired.
It's almost like you're talking about balance.
Oh,
you think that's a real thing?
But yes,
man, I haven't found it yet.
You have to force it. I think that I got to the point where I was like, I have to sleep. Like, I got to the point where I was like, I need to get like a full, 8 to 10 hours of sleep, because otherwise, first of all, it can't be this fine if I'm sleepy.
I don't think I have a response. I don't think I have a response for that yet. I don't think I need to find it. I need to figure it out for sure. And I recognize I do. Like, it's not something that I'm just sitting here gonna act like, I don't understand that I need to, because I realize and I recognize whenever my body's like, okay, you either gonna stop or I'm gonna make you stop.
Yeah, but I feel like too, like, making that time and just being like, you know what, I really have to dedicate some time on a weekly basis to just do nothing, even if it's one day. Just to like do nothing. Now
I do have that. I do have that one day where I don't do something. Now I do have that.
Do you respond to emails on that day?
No, not all the time. No,
not all the time.
Not all the time. I got to really work on that balance, because I do know that's important for me. Otherwise, I'm gonna burn out. Yeah. So I know I definitely got to work on that. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm not there yet.
You have to create that. It'll be like such a like weight lift, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, now I can get through this faster and more with a clearer head and things like that.
I'm more creative when I've had more sleep.
Absolutely.
But one of the things I recently started doing was expanding my team some. Whenever I first started, it was little easier. And then as it took off, I'm like, oh my God, I ended up letting go of more people as it took off. And I'm like, okay, Jesus. Now it's circling back to that point where you're opening back up the trust that people are going to do what you need them to do.
Yeah.
That is difficult because you're trusting somebody to get to the end. Like, this your baby.
Yes.
Like this radio show, this your baby. And sometimes people they just don't care. And I'm just like, dude, I'm losing money at this point because of this situation. So now I'm to that space where I'm opening back up, rebuilding and restoring that team. It's like a constant wheelhouse. I think Will says it all the time. Hire slow, fire fast. I hear it all the time, and I'm just like, man, that is so true. But it's a constant thing. That can be frustrating sometimes, but I recognize it's important.
Yeah, because then you're taking on that whole, now you got another job title under you that was essentially, paid out to someone else. But do you pay yourself for that job?
No.
See, this is one thing that I've learned, and I learned this from my husband, because like they had some tasks that they were, delegating out. He owns, a few funeral homes, and so they're delegating tasks, and then they're like, oh, we can do this. And then, they're like, oh, well, we can just pay ourselves for what we may have paid that person to do it. I was like, dang, I should have been doing that because it would make sense, right? I'm already paying that out, or I can cut the cost a little bit, but still, I'm like, oh yeah. So that way, it's still a wash. I'm still getting, it done, and then generating my own revenue from my own business from paying myself for doing those tasks. So that's just a thought. What projects you got coming up? You got some big houses. You want to buy a duplex, 6, 5. What you doing? 4-plex?
So I just closed on a duplex. Okay. But we are looking, I'm looking to close next week on a 6-unit apartment building. So we're going to take on that. And then I have some developments that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Some new construction stuff.
Nice.
So this year will be mainly around multi-units and focusing on the new development.
Yeah. Good. So you're making $1 million?
I don't know about that.
A bazillion?
Yeah, we're making some money. I don't know about that, though.
But not the bazillion yet.
Not yet.
It's around the corner. It's okay.
Yeah.
You got this. Like, you have that, the energy. You have the drive, the focus, and I see it. So I really appreciate you even coming in to hang out with me while you're visiting this great town.
I know.
Is this your first time in Vegas or no?
No, I've been here a few times.
Oh, she been
but
here a few times.
It's the time difference, man.
Yeah.
It eats me up every time.
You have to come in early so you could go to sleep early, and then you be good.
Yeah, that's what I did yesterday. I landed at like 4. Yeah. So I went to bed last night at 8:30 here. I was knocked out.
Yeah, that's what you should be doing. Well, hopefully you can catch up. You going to brunch? What you about to do today?
I'm gonna go to brunch in a little bit, get some food.
Okay then. Well, good. I'm glad you have time out of your busy schedule that you can come and hang out over here at Hot 702.5.
No problem.
Before we go, what business advice can you give the people? It's not Friday, but it is Saturday.
It is Saturday.
So what's some advice you can give the
business
people before
advice? Be okay with starting over. Even if it doesn't work the first time, get comfortable starting over. Anything that scares you, if it's just terrifying you to to go through it anyway. That's what I've noticed the most in my business. Anything that has scared me the most was the most successful thing I did. And being okay with starting over. It's okay. Yeah. Whether you're firing people, whether you hiring someone else, whether you take on a different project, whether you decide to start another company, whatever that looks like. Start it over until you get it right, till it makes sense for you. Be okay with that.
Very good advice. I love that. Well, good. Thank you for hanging out with me.
No problem.
All right. Well, we are done with this Hotlyte right here, but you can also go back, click that share button, tell your friends about us, and tell your friends about Ashley Jennings. What's your website, real quick, before we go?
If you can follow me on Facebook, Jennings Real Estate Group LLC is on Facebook. That's where you can get me at.
All right, perfect. All right, y'all. We will see y'all next time right here on Hot 702.5FM.com.